Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! It's draft season edition.
Draft season edition. Let's go. We've got the NBA draft coming up in, what is it, like 5 weeks? About that. We've got the NBA draft coming. We've got all kinds of things happening with the NBA offseason already. Of course, we've got a couple of big playoff games tonight. A lot of stuff for us to get into. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you hit the subscribe button over on the YouTube channel and follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was a first night we've been without basketball for a while last night. And it was definitely weird. I didn't really know what to do. So I caught up on some draft film stuff from the combine games and the like and all that. And get going on that because there's just it's all coming fast and furious here. But yeah, I'm pretty fired up.
All right. We're going to remember on Friday's shows, everybody, we take your questions, your comments. You guys direct the show. You tell us what to talk about on this one. Let's go. We'll go here. If the Nuggets extend Peyton Watson at $25 million average annual value and trade Zeke Naji using second-round picks and Wade Valanciunas, wouldn't it still take cutting $27 million to get under the luxury tax? I don't have the math in front. I'll pull up their cap sheet, but.
Yeah, I've got the math. I did it out after I saw this question. I've got it slightly lower because it's probably a little bit closer to about 23 million. But once you backfill and fill out the roster, yeah, it might be a little bit closer to that 27. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know that that's the direction it's going to go. He has a follow-up question too that I flagged. Right. Okay. It goes like along the same lines of that.
If my math is correct, then aren't the Bulls, Lakers, Nets, Pistons really the only teams that can take those contracts and provide cap relief?
Yeah. Yes and no. Those teams can do it directly through cap space if they wanted to go that direction. I don't think for at least the Lakers, Lakers are not going to be in the game of eating contracts. They're trying to get players. Correct. Pistons probably not really eating contracts. They're probably trying to get players. Bulls, Nets, yeah, we'll see. I think the Nets are going to try to win as well. But remember, it's not just about the cap space. You have a couple teams with pretty big trade exceptions out there that they could do that as well, where they could take on contract or two. And if you're talking like Zeke Naji or even Valanciunas' contract, well, that's not guaranteed, but like anything under 15 million, anybody who's got a mid-level exception could take it in, take the player in via that as well, as long as it's not going to cause hard cap issues with them at the first apron. So a lot of ways you can get off salary, as well as just straight trades where you take back less.
Now, the way I've looked at the Nuggets and their cap situation is essentially that the most likely at least one of Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, or Peyton Watson is going to have to not be on the team next year. They're going to have to clear space. One of those guys will have to go if they don't want to be a second apron team. Now, I know a lot of Nuggets fans will say, well, but Zeke Naji, but we can stack up these contracts and move these guys. Just realistically, I think it's probably going to have to be one of those guys. Obviously, if they can find a way to do it without, because I think you're probably going to have to pay to get somebody to take Christian Brown's contract right now. The other guys, maybe you can get some value back in return. But while it's not the ideal scenario, I do think if they want to avoid being a second apron team, something's going to have to give.
Yeah, completely agree. It's pretty messy. I think the guy who is most likely to go, if they're keeping Peyton Watson, I think the guy who's most likely to go is Cam Johnson. It just didn't really go well. He's a expiring contract, so you could move that contract very easily. So that's where I think they're going to go. I don't think they're going to split up the Jokic, Murray, Gordon trio. They just paid Christian Brown, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be the direction they
go. Think they can get positive value on Cam Johnson? I mean, an expiring contract?
Yeah, probably at least neutral, I would say. Cam Johnson's still a good player. Didn't have a great season last year, but pretty plug and play guy who can, if nothing else, on a lot of good teams, he can be a shooter. And can obviously do more than that. Put the ball on the floor, do a little bit of playmaking. But yeah, I think it's
All right, I'm just sending out a tweet right now, letting everybody know where the link is. Keith, I'm trying something. I opted not to send this stream to X as I usually do.
Yeah, so
to get more people going to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I'm sending out a link to that right now. So we'll see how that all goes. Just trying that out.
Flagging questions.
All right, let's go.
Some good ones coming in.
Here, if the Knicks don't win the title, what's a realistic path to them getting LeBron?
LeBron takes a lot less money is probably the most realistic, or they work out some kind of sign and trade with the Lakers, where the Lakers are like, we'll take this player back. I don't, whether that's Anunoby or Bridges. Both of those guys could make a lot of sense for the Lakers, quite honestly, as 3-and-D forward type options. But there's hard cap issues that will work out with all that they'd have to work through and figure all that out. But yeah, I mean, the main thing would be him taking a lot less money.
Yeah, if you were to sign and trade, for example, LeBron to the Knicks, or sign and trade any player to any team, the team receiving the player gets hard capped at that first apron. So you could run into some issues there, depending on what the Knicks want to do with the rest of their roster and everything. But the simple solution would be just LeBron takes less money. Maybe can the Knicks get to an MLE, a full MLE, non-taxpayer?
Probably not. That's probably a little out of range for them, unless like they get off some serious money. Because I've got them, let's see, with what they just basically the main guys that they have under contract still in the fold. I've got them about 2.7 already over the first apron. So that's putting you just in taxpayer MLE type of range, and that's without factoring in a new deal for Mitchell Robinson or anything. Because you got to think just alone their starting group. So Brunson, Towns, Anunoby, Bridges, and Hart. That's $191.7 million just for
there's all your cap space and then some.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got a first round pick this year, so yeah, they're pretty expensive.
Okay, so then we're talking about we're talking about a taxpayer, we're talking about like $6 million that they could offer LeBron James.
Yeah. I mean, if it was just like straight, like join us to sign, that's why I think it's more like it would have to be some form of sign and trade.
Right. And then they'd even have to, and then you're talking about Bridges, Anunoby, whatever they would want to put into some kind of a deal like that.
Hey, before we go to the next question, I'm going to warn everybody, this is not basketball breaking news, so you don't need to hit the drop, but breaking news. Our daughter passed her driver's license test.
Hey, we got a new driver.
So we got a new driver in the family, which thankfully, if anybody's noticed, this show's been a little sporadic the last couple of weeks. That's 99% on me. Our schedule's been very weird. But now she can drive herself. So
there you go.
Going to be a lot more available here in the coming time. So
there we go. More front office shows.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. Well, congratulations. Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations for a much bigger car insurance payment.
Yeah, yes.
So hit those super chats, guys.
Gotta pay for Bella's car insurance now.
Yeah, that's it.
Is Ace Bailey and the number 2 pick for number 1 crazy? I see it going around everywhere, and it seems like terrible value. For who, though?
Yeah, who do you think it's terrible value for?
Who do you think it's? I think it depends. If you're a Jazz fan, you think, oh no, hell no, we would not give up that much. And if you are a Wizards fan, you're like, I don't know if that's enough to give up the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't have a big gap between DeBonta and Peterson as the top 2, or even Boozer, but it doesn't seem like he's really in the mix here. So I like, yeah, I love Ace Bailey. I'm still super high on Ace Bailey. So if I was the Wizards, if I could just, all right, I'm going to take the other guy and then I'm going to get Ace Bailey, I'm all in on that. This is not like you're trading out of Wemby to a massive downgrade to the next guy, or Cooper Flag down to even like, and I liked Dylan Harper a lot, but even Flag down to Harper, like it's not, I don't think it's that big of a difference. So, yeah. And then I am curious with Utah, because right now I think it would probably go AJ DeBonsa 1 to the Wizards, and then Darren Peterson 2 to the Jazz. Every sign is they're going to do what they need to do to re-sign Walker Kessler. Where does that leave Ace Bailey? Like, is he going to be your sixth man? Because I don't know that. I mean, maybe he starts and Peterson comes off the bench initially.
Initially, yeah.
You know, Keontae George broke out. You have Markkanen, you have Jackson. It's just a little weird there. So that's why I think they're mentioned as potentially trying to move up or, you know, even move out.
So I think a lot of that's going to come down to the evaluation of the Wizards, of the Jazz. In order for a deal like this to come to fruition, you're going to need the Wizards to say, if there is a gap, there's not much of a gap, or maybe even say there's no gap at all between AJ DeBonsa and Darren Peterson, or maybe even go as far as to say they prefer Darren Peterson over AJ DeBonsa. And then if you are the Jazz, you need to have the opposite valuation. You need to say AJ is the guy. He's a tier above everybody else to make something like that worth it, where the Jazz would say, you know what, we're going to surrender Ace Bailey or whatever it is. Maybe it's a future pick. Maybe it's something else. Well, whatever it is to move up to get that number one pick, the Jazz have to be convinced that there's something that is really worthwhile there to make it happen. And for the Wizards side, if the Wizards have the analysis, that AJ DeBonsa is the dude, this is the guy that's going to be the superstar coming out of this draft class, then you simply don't trade the pick. But if they think it's close, okay, you know, and they can make a move. So it's going to come down to not just what is the value of the trade, but how did those teams view the individual players?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I have DeBonsa number one on my personal board. I'll pull this comment up from, I think that's supposed to be Israel. AJ is the consensus number one pick. 2 through 4 could be any of those projected. The Wizards would be dumb to trade that pick. I don't know if it's dumb. I mean, yeah, if you were like trading out, like you better get something monster. But if you're just moving back a pick, and I'll say this, DeBonsa is not. He may be the consensus number one pick, but some people who have done this for a long time, Jonathan Givony, chief among them, he has Darren Peterson number one on his board, and he thinks that's still where Washington may go because of the fit wise, I think is what he's factoring in a little bit more there. So I wouldn't fully lock in yet that it's definitely AJ DeBonsa. That's what I expect. That's what I have on my personal board. But yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I think, and I tweeted this the other day, talking to a lot of people. Right, everybody's in Chicago at the draft combine. So you're getting a lot of good stuff out of a lot of different people. Seems like there's 2 decision points that have kind of firmed up right now. It is 1-2. It's DeBonsa or Peterson. With whoever goes 1, the other one goes 2. And then 3-4 is Boozer Wilson. Whoever goes 3, the other one goes 4. So that seems like where we're at. And then 5 and later is just a little bit different. So
I think that's it's going to be interesting to see ultimately how teams maneuver in this draft, because we've already heard the Wizards are willing to move down, the Jazz are willing to move down. You know, like if you're the Jazz, could there be some appeal to dropping down to 3 and getting Boozer, and if his dad already works for your organization and all that, right? I mean, these teams are going to be talking through all of this stuff over these next 5 weeks or so as we get closer and closer to the draft. But it does seem to me anyway, and this is completely anecdotal, but it does seem like there's more talk about teams moving down than we had last year, which is interesting. And I wonder if there's some fire to that smoke.
Yeah, I mean, there is. The Boozer fit in Utah gets super weird because he is a 4 who could probably play down at the 3 a little bit. And now you've already got Jackson and Markkanen and Bailey, and it's like where are we going with all these guys? Because yeah, you can play. You could certainly play them all together, especially if you moved on from Kessler, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a little weird. I'm just gonna pull this one real quick, then we can get back in the order. Figuring out the cramps issues help Peterson's draft stock. I don't know that it made a difference because NBA teams were like, we'll figure out whatever's going on with him anyway. And get it sorted. I don't think they were super stressed about it one way or another. And I know teams that are like, I don't even know that was the issue. So, there's NBA teams very much believe it's, let's, once we get our hands on the player,
we can fix him.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Let's go here. Hey, Trev, couple of questions about the Lakers offseason. We're set to have around $48 million without re-signing Rui and Kennard, as well as LeBron. Might just be me, but that doesn't look like enough to get Watson, Io, or Kessler, and keeping one of them. It depends on what they're making, depends on what your end goals are. But yeah, there's going to be some difficult decisions that have to be made. When we're talking about Peyton Watson and Walker Kessler, both guys are restricted free agents. So I always caution people, do not assume, just don't even act like they're a real free agent or they're actually available, because there's a good chance that they aren't. Their incumbent team matches. And as we saw last year, teams do not like dealing with the hassle of restricted free agency. It's why Josh Giddey, it's why Jonathan Kuminga and others sat out there for so long. So don't assume that those guys are really available and then get disappointed when those guys don't wind up moving. Very, very rare for restricted free agents to move off of their incumbent teams. It can happen. And in the situation with Denver, maybe that creates a little bit more pressure for something to occur there. Most likely, if you're going to see an RFA move now, it's probably going to be via a sign and trade. And certainly something could be explored there. But yeah, the reality is that for the Lakers, if you're looking at it, sounds like they have a lot of cap space. But if you look at the top free agents, most of them are Lakers. So that's the challenge. If you're really going to improve the roster, it's not going to be via replacing one guy with another guy who might be slightly better. It's going to be adding to this roster. Now, Rob Pelinka said just the other day that he feels very confident they can add to this roster without replacing the core. We'll see how exactly he plans on pulling that off. Could be on the trade front. Well, they'll have some first round draft capital they could potentially move, but it's not like, despite we hear almost 50 million in cap space, it sounds like a lot. They really don't have as much flexibility as it looks like, because as you're saying, there's a number of guys that they would like to bring back into the fold, and doing so would eat up the majority of that cap space.
Yeah, in 50 million in cap space, that's how quick it's going to go. Like, It's not, I don't think the Lakers are going to go 50 million to 10 million to 5 different guys. It's probably going to go 30 million to somebody or more more likely via trade, I think, than a straight signing. There's just not that kind of free agent available.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest will go to somebody else. But what I do think is also being forgotten here is they also do have the room exception, which is almost $9.5 million now. That's not the room exception used to be kind of like, well, there's like $4 extra million and it's barely above a minimum. Now it's pretty good money. And that could be like, for like, let's say Luke Kennard, for example. Let's just say he's like, man, I love it here. This is where I want to be. He could come back for the room exception, because that's not all that big of a pay cut from that. We'll pull this one just because it's a good question. How does Reeves' contract factor into that cap space? So this is important, because Trevor probably deals with this.
I have this conversation at least once a day.
When you get that 48 million, which that's the number I've consistently been at, that includes a cap hold for Austin Reeves of about 21, 22 million. So what will happen is Lakers will spend 48 million in cap space. Mm-hmm. Then they can re-sign Austin Reeves to whatever his new number is, as long as it's above whatever his cap hold number is. And it's going to be. No matter how down some people may be on Austin Reeves, he's making well over $20 million next season.
Yeah.
And if he's not making it from the Lakers, he's making it from somebody else. We could confidently say that. So that's where it'll go. So Lakers can re-sign him after they use 50 million in cap space. So just know, guys, that's how that works. They are not going to have to use a chunk of that to re-sign Austin Reeves. That is not how that factors in.
Right. So his number on the books. So there is a very loud portion of the population that is of the fan base that is convinced that spends a lot of their time arguing about what Austin Reeves should get on his next contract. And for the future, that 100% matters, right? For the value of the contract moving forward. That is a huge, huge deal. I think there is risk of it becoming negative value if you overpay on Austin Reeves. You have to be very, very careful on the deal. That said, he's also a very good player. I think his market is going to be fascinating. Are there other teams does Chicago want to throw a big offer at him? Does Brooklyn? If they don't, then what happens? It's going to be an interesting market with Austin Reeves. But the important thing to remember is while they do need to do everything they can to get, with all players, all teams need to do everything they can to get as team friendly of a contract as they possibly can. For this summer, assuming the Lakers operate as a below the cap team, what Austin Reeves gets on his contract for this year will not change the Lakers' spending power, because they're going to treat him as that $21 million cap hold, and that's what the number, the important number. Then they'll go over the cap to sign him once they use up all their spending power. So for this summer, it doesn't matter. For the future, absolutely, but for this summer, it's not like, oh no, they gave Austin Reeves $38 million starting or something like that. That means they can't go do this or this. No, that's not how that's going to work, at least for this year.
If we go way back to the fall, you guys can look this up, find it easy enough. Just Google Keith Smith, Austin Reeves, next contract, spot track. Some version of that. I wrote about it, and I said, if I was the Lakers, I would do my best to front load his contract. Give him a whole bunch of money this year, because to your point, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. Then as Luka's number goes up, if Reeves' number comes down, it just keeps you in a better balanced place. I don't know that's how it's going to play out with Austin Reeves. We'll see. Do me a favor, scroll down a little bit on the window you're on, because I want to explain why does this not apply to LeBron.
Exactly. Wait, where did LeBron? There he is.
There he is. LeBron James. You can zoom in. Yeah, $59.5 million is LeBron James cap hold. So in order to have cap space, LeBron needs to be off the books. If LeBron is on the books, there's no cap space. That's just cut and dry, finished conversation, done. Now, if the Lakers are like, yeah, we want to bring LeBron back and we're going to stay over the cap, well, everything we just talked about, throw it in the garbage, right? It has nothing to do with anything. Just start re-signing guys, make trades. It'll look a lot like it did last offseason. But if LeBron is gone, in order to get that cap space, that's how you get there. You have to get rid of LeBron to get there. So
now, if you get, I'm sure the Lakers will go to LeBron and say, hey, look, we can give you this much, and that will allow us to do this and this.
Sure.
Will you take less in order to, and that's going to be certainly part of the conversation as well. But yeah, LeBron's cap hold, and the same holds true with Rui Hachimura, whose cap hold is $28 million almost. That's another cap hold where you're probably not going to use that cap hold number. You're going to need to relinquish that in order to have the cap space we're talking about. Instead,
Maxi Kleba is in the same boat. Luke Kennard,
exactly.
Those guys basically. If you want to max out the Lakers cap space somewhere in the 50 million range, it's everybody's got to go. That's a free agent minus Austin Reeves. That's just the best. There's other ways you give smart ups out. There's other ways you can work within that as well. But that's how you get there.
And that doesn't mean those guys are gone. You
absolutely.
Could use, if you were to wait, you could relinquish Rui Hachimura's rights and then use cap space to sign him to a smaller contract. It doesn't mean the player's gone. It means in order to officially have that cap space available, you have to relinquish those rights to that.
So you say with Luke Kennard, right? You could always bring him back on the room exception if you wanted to, or if you get 10 million left over or whatever. But all right, chat's getting a little cranky about all the Lakers talk. But guys, it's not because we're trying to make this Lakers. They're one of the most important teams in the league, and they have a crap ton of cap space. I think they're certainly one of, if not the most interesting team for the offseason because of all of this. But it's also important. It's also important to understand how all of this is going to operate over the summer, because this is stuff that applies to all teams, and so that's important to know. A little bit different than the Bulls, who might just be trying to take on salaries and stuff. That's a different place, but
All right, let's go here. Can you sign and trade? Can you do sign and trades in the Spot Track trade machine?
Yeah. So what you do is you go to the free agent tab. Are you going to pull it up?
I'll propose a trade here.
You got to switch the league year to next year, because obviously you can't do sign and trades this year. So there it is, right at the top. You switch. Just do whoever, pick two teams. Use the Lakers because we know they have free agents.
Right.
And then on the Lakers side, switch to the Lakers at the top. Go to free agents in the tabs. And then what you're going to do is like let's just do LeBron. You will do in the drop down, you will pick sign and trade, and then you plug in whatever you think is a fair salary that you're trying to put him in for.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. And then
that's all.
That will do the math for you on the right way of how it would count.
Pretty cool.
Here it is.
Pretty cool. All right. The NFL schedule on Christmas is insane. I haven't seen it. Why are they trying to take it away from the NBA? What's that?
I think they have 3 games.
You knew. I'll look it up. You knew when a few years ago Christmas was on a Sunday and they had Christmas Day games. Once they got a taste of it, they were not going to go back. They've got the Packers and Bears, the Bills and Broncos, and the Rams and Seahawks all playing on Christmas Day. You knew that was going to be a thing. Should the NBA start having games on Thanksgiving or something? But you had a pretty good sense that once they put a game or two on Christmas, they were going to go, oh, this is good. Let's keep doing this. And this is the way it was going to go.
Yeah, I think the good news for the NBA last year, same deal, is this year, a couple of those games are on Netflix. And not that they didn't do well, but like they didn't do as well as, if they were just on regular TV, where people could get it easier. So, I know what I'll be watching, but it's, it is what it is. But yeah, it's the NFL would like to, I think in our lifetime, the NFL is just going to play every day of the week. And that's just going to be how it is. At least one game.
If LeBron doesn't return to the Lakers, what potential teams do you see wanting him? We already talked about the Knicks, Golden State, being another one, Cleveland, right? I think those are the main ones that get mentioned.
Yep. I think the Clippers would at least make a call and say, hey, do you want to stay in your house? Right? Like, sure. Just stay here. I think in that case, he'd be like, yeah, I'll do that, but with the Lakers. But yeah, it's Cavs, Warriors, Knicks. Like, that's even the Knicks. I don't know quite as much because there's draft questions coming. I promise there's some in there.
Do you guys already see the Knicks in the finals? I don't see the Cavs or Pistons putting up a fight against them. I think they'll put up a fight.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I think I would favor the Knicks to make the finals for sure, but I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think it's. I wouldn't put it in pen yet that the Knicks are in the finals.
Hey Keith, are you attending Sports Business Classroom this year?
I am. Yeah. Spoiler alert, because they're going to start announcing instructors, but I'll be one of the instructors again for the salary cap section. If you guys are interested, sportsbusinessclassroom.com. You can get all the information. It's a week-long intensive where you are thrown into the business of basketball at Summer League from the 9th through the, not the 9th, the 12th through the 19th, I think it is. 9th through 19th is the full Summer League run. But here's the other news. I'm going to be there right from the beginning this year. So it's an awful lot of time in Las Vegas. I'll probably be an absolute... Yeah, I don't even know what I'm going to look like by the end of 11 days in Las Vegas.
Oh no.
It's going to be a mess. But the good news is you're going to get to see me hopefully on the bright eye and bushy-tailed front start of that.
The front end of it.
We'll overlap because would we overlap last year for about 6 hours?
6 hours. Yep, that we were in Vegas in the same because I tend to go at the beginning for the first few games, and you were coming in later.
SBC.
Yeah.
So, but SBC, super cool. Each day is filled with all kinds of learnings. Students pick a major. You can major in the salary cap CBA, agent, player relations, which also covers NIL if anybody's really wanting to be an agent. You can major in scouting and video analytics is the other one, or media and broadcast if anybody wants to be on the media side. Those are all led by really smart, really good people. Howard Beck and Jay Donde lead the media video broadcast side. No two better guys to learn from there with that. So and then salary cap is led by Bobby Marks, myself, and Yossi Goslin. The agent one is led by EJ Kusnire, who is an active NBA agent there. And then scouting video analytics is Seth Partnow and Steve Jones. So just, I mean, it's great people. Like last year, I can tell you guys, Adam Silver came and spoke to the group. Sam Presti came and spoke to the group. Kenny Atkinson came and spoke to the group. And then people are constantly popping in and out. There's deep dive sessions where we really get into things like really deep, like scouting video analytics. They take film and break it down together and all that stuff and all that. So yeah, we are yeah, it's super deep. Your connections you're going to make are incredible. So it is, please check it out, sportsbusinessclassroom.com. And you get to hang out with me for like 7 days, which is,
and you get a hug.
Yeah. If you prove you're subscribed to the show, anybody who's at Summer League or anywhere else you run into me in the world, prove you subscribe to the show and you want it, you get a free hug.
There you go.
Ending offer.
Off-season center options for LA.
All of them.
All of
right? I mean,
all the
you know,
Spot Track does have a good tool of upcoming free agents, and you can sort by position. So that's certainly helpful. One of the things to remember when you're looking at this, because I still get, whenever I show this, Keith, I get people that say, why is this player ranked above this player? It's based on last year's salary. That's it. That's the rank. So like, here's the center options that are out there.
Yeah, these are not rankings.
No, these are not rankings. This is listed in terms of their salary, in order of their salary last season. But it's super easy to go and check that out. And of course, over on Lakers Nation, I'm going to do top point guard options for the Lakers, top shooting guard options, small forward options. We're going to be getting into all of that kind of stuff for sure. So just be on the lookout for all of that. I think today I may do something on just like a general overall look at free agency for the Lakers. So that'll come out later. But we can drill down into each individual position.
Yeah. Two things. One, I will have free agent rankings posted. I do them by each of the, we still do it by the standard 5 positions: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, because that's what most people still think of players within those buckets. So I will have rankings on those, and then I will also have an overall top 50 ranking that'll come out, and then there will be changes and adjustments as guys opt in, guys opt out. Like more guys opt in because they come off the board. We'll do that. But yeah. And then the other thing is, where was it? This was about SBC. Will anyone have access to attend these classes online? It is not. It is because part of the goal is to put you in front of the people, whether it be in media or with teams that you want to, like, the thought is you probably want to work in basketball. I can tell you, it's probably not something you're just taking for fun. To come, it's pricey. It's a serious investment to do SBC, but it's really great. But yeah, there's no online option for that. You do get on access to online tools, so you will have those after SBC ends that can help you with various things. But there's no online version because part of the goal is to get you in front of actual people who can maybe give you a job at some point in the.
All right, let's go here. Who do you think are realistic targets for the Celtics with their trade exception? Would they actually consider using it?
Yeah, I'll answer the last part first. Yeah, I think they are going to consider using it. It's one of the easier ways, not that it's easy, but easier ways to make a big impact. I think if you're going to see them get involved with any kind of bigger free agent, not that there's a great list of them, that's probably how. Is via that TPE, that because that would allow them to get a play in the sign and trade space. So that's certainly an option there.
I'm assuming this is the Porzingis.
Yeah. Well, it was Porzingis, which turned in now it's Anthony Simons.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because they brought Vooch into the Porzingis one, and then
Simons
created a new one. Yep. So, which is funny because I literally just did a show where it's like, these TPs, nobody ever uses them. It's like they used one this year, like it created a whole nother big one. Like, yeah, the Vooch trade didn't really work out, but they still did it. Like, so yeah, but yeah, so that's who do I think are realistic targets? I don't know. I'd have to think through that a little bit more and then do some sorting via like the via the like salaries if they're currently under contract. Free agent targets, I mean, those could be guys like if they wanted to get involved with like John Collins, who I think would make a lot of sense for them. Not just because I love John Collins, but I do think he would make sense if they wanted to have any chance of playing with any of the restricted free agents. That's the only path would be more, hey, rather than this, let's do it as a sign and trade. There's Anthony Simons maybe, could be brought back. He's not going to be brought back into his own TP, but he could be brought back on the MLE. So yeah, those are some of the things.
All right, let's go here. Will we see some trades before the league year flips?
He corrected it. He meant July 1.
Okay, he did correct. I was going to say it's July 1st. So will we see some trades before the league year flips? Yeah, probably. I mean, especially around the draft, you start to see moves being made. Yep. Teams will trade picks and stuff. So I would say almost certainly some type of trade. Now, it may be this team trades these 2 picks to move up in the draft or something like that, but I would be surprised if we went all the way through the draft and into the next league year and didn't see some type of trade take place.
Yeah, I'd be shocked, even if it's not official but agreed to. And let's just put it out there. The Bucks owner said Giannis's status will be resolved by the draft. If they're trading him, they want it done by the draft. Again, doesn't mean it'll be official, but that's what they're saying.
Do you see the Miles Turner stuff about saying Giannis just shows up whatever time he wants to show up, like hours after their plane's supposed to take off, he'll decide to appear?
I mean, that's disrespectful to everybody else, but I don't know. You want to show up late? Like, I don't know if I've kind of always felt this way. Like once people get to a certain place, other than the disrespectful part, if you're holding everybody else up, but if you're not holding anybody else up, you can show up and still perform. Like good on you, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's weird. The draft is June 23rd for the first round, June 24th for the second round.
I likened that situation to being Doc Rivers, knowing he was probably going to leave coaching. He's that teacher that's like a few weeks away from retirement. It's just like, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. Just, you want to show up late, whatever.
I don't want to turn this whole show into about my daughter, but that's exactly where my daughter's chemistry teacher is like right now. He's retiring after like 40 something years of teaching.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, like, I just got to get you to the final next week and then I'm done.
I'm running out the clock. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yep.
Who impressed you at the draft combine? Any notable movers and shakers? I have not paid nearly enough attention to the draft combine at this point to watch who's done what there. I've seen a few players going through their workouts and such, but I need to actually dig into the draft combine.
Yeah, Baba Miller has been really good. He is he's like a legit like 6'11", 7 feet tall, and he is but he's very like fluid athlete. Like he's not your traditional big, like think of a big like Giannis, right? Who can really move and is more like a giant sized wing. He's not Giannis. That's not what I'm saying. But like that body type and the way he moves, he was really good. Terrace Reed, coincidentally represented by Austin Reeves' agency. He has been excellent in these games in ways where it's not that he's jumping off the page because he's scoring 30 points, but ways where it's like, oh, that's an NBA big right there. Like done. Right. Cam Carr played really well day one. Matthew Abel has shot the crap out of the ball in the combine games there. So a lot of guys, Nate Ament, he hasn't played in the games because the guys who are like definite like lottery range guys don't play in the games.
Right.
But Nate Ament measured out bigger than he was even listed at Tennessee, which is wild because that
usually goes the other way.
Never happens.
Yeah.
It's normally like this guy's 7 feet, and then they go to the combine. It's like he's 6'8.5".
Yeah.
Flory Badunga, that's a big man he was with Kansas. He's probably going back to school. He's had a couple nice runs. Jeremy Fears, that is Jeremiah Fears' older brother. Because he's still in school, but he showed out with some good playmaking. Jaden Bradley of Arizona had a good run. Ryan Comwell shot it really well. Braden Smith had a nice day. Aaron Nkrumah, he played his way up from the G League camp into the combine itself. He's done really well. And then Dylan Mitchell, who bounced around a lot in his college career, finished at St. John's. He's played really well and done a lot of playmaking. He's like legit 6'8" or so. So that's a whole bunch of guys, and that covers off. I know a bunch of people asked about like who are some sleeper guys, because a bunch of those guys they've probably played themselves into being draftable now that maybe weren't going to be there.
All right. How do you guys feel about Trey Murphy to the Pistons for Stu? I would want more for Trey Murphy on the Pelicans.
Yeah, I don't love that for the Pels. Yeah.
No.
You want to toss in a couple first? All right, let's have a conversation. But
Andrew Wiggins on the Lakers would be nice. He's on the final year of an expensive deal and would likely be a bargain if he extends afterwards. I mean, I think the interesting thing with Andrew Wiggins is going to be, I think the easy floor for him is just pick up the $30 million player option. But could you come up with some type of a deal with him where you say, hey, we're going to add years on, we're going to get you kind of similar to what we expect OKC to try to do with Isaiah Hartenstein, just there's a team option, not a player option. Yeah. Say, hey, we don't want to pay you $28.5 million. We're going to give you whatever it is, 20 million, whatever the number comes in at, but we're going to do multiple years to compensate for that. Could see something like that ultimately taking place with Andrew Wiggins. And then what is that number? Is he, if you gave him $40 million over 2 years, would he rather just take $30 million for one and then see what's what next summer? Maybe. So finding that right number, I think, will be interesting too. And again, he always has the floor. The fallback option is always just pick up the player option and oh shoot, I get $30 million this year.
Yeah, and he's 31 now. So like we're starting to get to where what you said of like, let me add a couple guaranteed years of money. That's starting to get closer into play. But he's not, if he was like 34, 35, I would say, yeah, that's definitely the play. At 31, he might still be able to get one more decent contract. For what it's worth, because I have LeBron now as a power forward, because that's really functionally what he is. Especially on the defensive end. I have Wiggins as my top-ranked free agent small forward this summer.
Do you think he actually hits free agent, or do you think when he picks up the player option?
Yeah, I think he'll probably opt in. Because I think he's going to look at the market and be like, all right, I don't think he wants to go to the Bulls or the Nets yet. They're not close enough for him to want to be part of that. And then I just don't know that the Lakers or the Pistons, who are the other teams I project to have cap space, they're going to be chasing him that way. So I think for him, it's better just opt in, play out the year, and then hit free agency next summer.
I hate it when I have to take $30 million.
I know, sucks, right?
Terrible. Tamara said, LA question, Herb Sadiq and a Congo trades. Mitch Robinson, also Peyton Watson, free agent. Smart stays. LeBron, no.
It's not really a question. That's just like, just threw out a whole bunch of names.
Playoffs about more than one way to play. Onyeka stretch 5.
Yeah, I mean, Sadiq Bey's on a very reasonable contract, super easy to acquire for anybody.
Herb Jones, players, but
Herb Jones, you're gonna have to pay to get him, like in trade. A Kongwu, I don't know, that's the way the Hawks want it. He's the only player with size on the roster. Everybody else is a forward or a guard. Mitchell Robinson,
they probably need to add more size this summer.
The Hawks, yeah,
the Hawks.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, Mitchell Robinson, let's see what happens with the Knicks. Like, if the Knicks are in the finals, they're probably like, run it back. I mean, they've got more money than they know what to do with. They're not really worried about a big tax bill. So, we'll see.
Are NBA contracts mandated for a full season? Can the Lakers offer LeBron $27 million for a 41-game contract and then send him on the banana boat until the All-Star break? No, I mean, it's a full season, but in theory, if you wanted to tell a player, we're going to pay you half a, for, you don't have to show up until April. You could do that. You could have, the guy would take up a roster spot and everything, and you could just say, he's away from the, now in the case of LeBron, you'd start getting into the NBA would jump in and say, no, you can't be sitting a star player, and you wind up with all that kind of stuff. But if a guy were, say, recovering from an injury or something, you could say he's rehabbing at home or something.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, right? It's not like LeBron hasn't, not this extreme, but he's in his time with the second run with the Cavs and his time with the Lakers, he has done some time where it's like, it's a little more time off than it is truly in. This year, not really. This year was like, but and I don't even blame it. Like if it's like, hey, I'm gonna kind of disappear for a week here, like whatever. But yeah, this would be extreme. Yeah, and because he's still an all-star level guy, they get in all kinds of trouble.
It's not quite Dennis Rodman going to Vegas, but
No.
they'll try to give him
the middle of the playoff series.
Just putting a dent in that.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Attaboy. Thank you.
Y'all think the Clippers would trade the pick? Yeah, why not? What would it take, seeing as there's a big tier break in the prospects after 4? I think they would.
I don't agree with that last part. For what
you think there's not? Where
I love Darius Acuff. I think Darius Acuff's awesome.
Agreed.
And I think he's going to be great. So I'm 100% like, but I fully recognize I am on the outlier of that. But yes, in standard consensus, yes, there's a pretty big tier break. But yeah, if you're the Clippers, if you're trying to win right now and you get the right offer, yeah, absolutely, you'd move that pick.
All right. Let's go here. How likely is it that the Thunder get Uday Mera?
Yeah, certainly possible. He's huge. He measured out massive. Second biggest wingspan, I think, since Taco Fall at the combine. So it gives you a sense of just how big this dude is.
Right.
I think he's really good. So I think I think he's definitely in range. I mean, 12th pick, that's right about where he is, somewhere in the back end of the lottery. So
I'm not a college basketball viewer, but I just didn't get too much about the bigs. Can you inform us if you have knowledge, please? I guess didn't find out too much about bigs in this year's draft.
Yeah, for true bigs, Ade Mara, we just talked about. Chris Sinak from Houston is another big ton of potential. Hans Steinbach out of Washington, another center with real good size. Henri Visar. And I apologize. I'm learning pronunciations on these guys. So if I butcher any of them, that's on me. He comes out of North Carolina. He was at Arizona. Before that, had a really big breakout year. He can also shoot it, which is kind of fun. And then Joshua Jefferson, Marez Johnson, I really like. Jaden Quintance did not barely played this year at Kentucky due to a knee issue, but he's now cleared and fully healthy, and his measurables came in really strong for him. So he's going to have to kill it in workouts. But those are most of the main bigs. Not a great class for bigs. If you need a point guards for days in this draft. But and then there's some good wings. The bigs, little lighter, but there'll be a few that can play. A couple of the bigs who would have gone high chose to return to school.
Have the Knicks played the best basketball in the playoffs?
I think the Thunder have, but
I would say no. The Knicks have not played the best. They've done well, for sure. No question there.
No, but I mean, after they lost the game 3 in the Hawks series, and then gone scorched earth on everybody. I like. I mean, they played really well. The Thunder have had 2 sweeps.
The Thunder haven't had Jalen Williams, and frankly, they haven't even needed SGA either until the 4th quarter against the Lakers in Game 4.
Yeah,
that
was the first time they've been
without him all the way until that point.
Yep. Yeah. It went 7 and 3/4 of a game without really being challenged. So.
Yep. How likely are okay, we already did this one.
Oh, sorry. Thanks for the super chat.
We appreciate the super chat. Donation for car insurance.
Let's go.
What should the Lakers realistically offer for Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey from the Pels, Derek Jones of the Clippers, or Aaron Nesmith? I mean, you're mostly going to be talking draft capital. There's not a lot of players that they have. I mean, like a Dude Thero might have some not serious value, but teams may say, hey, we'll take a flyer on him or something like that. But I don't think there's a player that teams are going to be saying, hey, we'll give up really good value to go get that guy. But you're talking about draft capital that you be putting together to try to go get basically any of these guys.
Yeah, I think definitely Herb Jones costs you one of the first round picks that they can trade. They probably, I don't know what the Lakers are looking like for seconds. I know for a little bit they were
they've got, I think, one available. They traded their last one to get Luke Kennard.
Yeah, don't you don't want to get silly and start overpaying for guys, because then now you're in trouble. This is where the Connect pick not panning out sucks, because he's not even
it hurt them so bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's check this out. think OKC may consolidate Dort, Wiggins, 12, 17 picks to move up. How far does that move them up in the draft? If not, they'll settle for Yaxel at 12 and trade 17 for a future pick.
Yeah, can you pull up the draft?
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm pulling up OKC's.
Oh, okay. I'll pull it. I've got the draft order here. So if you're moving Dort and Wiggins, it's got to be to a team that probably wants to win, right? Because
right,
it's not getting you.
And so you'd be picking up that team option for Dort.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah, because you can't trade them otherwise.
Right.
So you're picking that up. That turns into what, $29 million in total money between him and Wiggins.
So here's the draft order.
27. Yeah. It's 12 and 17. Maybe as high as Dallas, maybe.
I was looking at Dallas, or what about Atlanta?
Yeah, maybe Atlanta. Dort's a weird fit because you already have Dyson Daniels, so
right. I'm just thinking, is Brooklyn going to give up 6 to get those guys? No. Chicago's not going to do it. Memphis isn't going to do it.
Sacramento, I mean, they do weird stuff all the time, so maybe and they I don't know. Yeah, weird.
They need to lean into the younger players.
I think the issue starts to become the Dort and Wiggins part of it. I don't know that a bunch of the teams ahead of them want both of those guys.
Right.
Yeah. Settle for Yaxel at 12. I mean, maybe he's talking about, for anybody who's just learning the draft, Yaxel Lenborg from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're more likely to go with a true prospect kind of guy like Kareem Lopez, who's from Mexico, but played in Australia this past year, or like Koa Pete, who played at Arizona. More prospect guys because they don't need anybody right away. So they can afford to really kind of go with somebody who's got super high upside and develop them out. Because like Axel Lindborg, the thing you like about him, like guy like him to a team like the Warriors, because he's ready to just play right now. There's not a ton of upside left because he's been around for a while, but that's where I think you want to be. Those teams make sense for him. A team like the Thunder, he's not going to break into their rotation. So why do you want an older prospect at the back end of your bench? You'd rather have the younger guy that you're trying to develop and hope he pops big time.
All right. Teddy said, based on the likely slap on the wrist the Clippers will get, we don't know. We have no idea how that's all going to pan out here.
Yeah.
Said, I say have Pelinka get LeBron to sign for the minimum and then just FedEx him the literal Mona Lisa to make him whole. Kidding, but not really. If the general perception is that the Clippers got away with something, or that if they're found to have committed some wrongdoing in their whole aspiration, why? And it costs you a second round pick or something, that would definitely be the concern of the NBA, that, now a bunch of teams are going to try this because they're going to say it's worth it. If whatever the punishment is nothing significant.
Yeah, I guess my bigger question is, what does Teddy Hart know something about Rob Pelinka, shady underworld dealings? He's got
how is he getting the Mona Lisa? And can we make a movie out of that?
I mean, we already did, didn't we? That was in what movie is that? Where he has the Mona Lisas in his house.
Was that like the Da Vinci Code or something? Or
no, it's a it's like a comedy gangster movie. I can't remember what it is, but it's like he has the real Mona Lisa, and the one that's in the Louvre is a fake.
Okay.
In the movie. Somebody in the chat will shout it out if they know.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's also, did you know there's a treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah, you just gotta wet it. You put some lemon juice on it. It wouldn't eat right through it, but okay. That said, I still like those movies a lot.
I do too. Okay. How about giving Rui an increase in contract with many years? That would allow more cap space for this one. No. Yeah. So actually, Keith, I've been mentioning this, that if we're in a scenario where Austin Reeves does not get just a full, here's a max salary, right?
Sure.
And you've talked about this too, that because his cap hold is what his cap hold is, it would actually be smart, assuming that you're not butting up against the first apron or anything like that, to take Austin's contract and actually make it, whatever it comes out at, make it a descending contract and go down year in, year out. However, with a player like Rui, because your spending power doesn't change regardless of what that first year salary is. With a player like Rui Hachimura, though, where we're not expecting them to use his cap hold as the placeholder on their books, giving him, saying you're going to get a 8% raise each year moving up makes more sense if your goal is to preserve cap space to make other moves this year.
Yeah, I have no real issue with that. I mean, he's had just terrific. I mean, he had a great playoff run, and I mean, Rui Hachimura is a good player. You just, I don't know about many years. I don't know that I would want to give him like a full 4 or 5 year deal.
Sure.
But yeah, if it's the right number, sure. Like, I know no real issue with that.
If New York wins the chip this season, will that forever invalidate the in-season tournament since they refused to hang the banner? Would LA take it down? I hate that they did that. Yeah, I thought that was so ridiculous.
Yeah. That's just the Knicks being stupid and James Dolan wanting to poke at the league. It had nothing to do with whatever nonsense.
Nobody can really say like, oh, we want to make sure we're motivated to hang a real one. Yeah, looking up and seeing an NBA tournament banner, NBA Cup banner would have definitely served to demotivate the Knicks. They go, oh, nope, we got one. We're good.
Yeah, that was enough.
Kick back and relax.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's just nonsense.
And what it does is it's a dick move to everybody that comes after them. Because now instead of just this is what you do, now next year, whoever wins it, it's do you hang the banner? Do you not? Right? Yep. Now you've put it on everybody else moving forward. You've set the precedent. You could have cemented the precedent that, hey, everybody just hangs the banner and then it's not even a conversation. Nobody even needs to worry about it. Now next year, it's going to be a topic of conversation. Do they hang the banner? Do they not?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It was ridiculous.
It's hard to win anything. Celebrate it. Division titles are getting a little silly now. Divisions have never meant less, but like other than that, just go. Like, I don't know. I'm all about that. To answer the Mona Lisa question, Mike says.
Sorry.
Mike says, I think you mean the freshman with Matthew Broderick and oh my gosh, I can't think of what's
Marlon
Brando. I couldn't think of his first name. I wanted to call him Melvin, and I'm like, that's Melvin. Not right. That's his twin brother. But I think that is the movie. That's a fun movie. I haven't watched it in years.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, he's a freshman film student, and he somehow gets I know how it happens, but he gets involved with Marlon Brando, who's like a mob boss, because that's apparently all Marlon Brando could ever play. But it's fun. It's got some twists in it that are a lot of fun.
All right,
I think you'd like it. Put it on your summer watch list.
We'll do one more here. Okay. Is Jonathan Isaac's contract viewed as a positive asset in a trade?
Nope. No. Only if the team is trying to get off some money, but that's not how Orlando's going. He's either going to get waived and the Magic are going to eat that $8 million. I would not be surprised if they waive and stretch it to give them even more wiggle room underneath the tax and aprons. But yeah, he's not going to be no one's trading for Jonathan Isaac as a player, and the contract isn't positive enough that it would matter, because then they'd have to be on the hook for $14 million if they keep him. So they're going to salary dump it with a second, because that's about what it would cost to get off $8 million. And then, or they'll just eat it themselves. But yeah, he couldn't play at the end of the year.
All right. Last thing I showed there, because I can answer this quickly. Why not just sign LeBron to a small contract for the first year and then a big and then it'll be a big contract in the second year? You can only do maximum of 8% increases or decreases to a salary year over year. So that's why, in theory, you could tell LeBron, hey, wink, wink, we're going to sign you on a 1-year deal at, the minimum this year, and then next year we'll give you the maximum, and it'll all even out. But that couldn't be contractual and on paper and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why you're not going to see something like that. And who knows we don't even know if he's going to play next year. We definitely don't know if he's going to play 2 more years.
Yep. Yeah. And it only goes if he signed a 2-year contract, contracts can only go up by a maximum of 8%.
Yep. All right, everybody. We appreciate the super chats that came in. I will save these ones that we didn't get to, but we are out of time. I do have these. We'll add them on to our next show and make sure that we answer them. But appreciate all of you for joining us here today. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.